The rain battered the tin roof of our small house in Willow Creek, a relentless drumbeat that matched the storm in my chest. I was 13 when it happened, when my world split apart like a tree struck by lightning. My mother, Ellen, stood in the doorway, her suitcase packed, her eyes avoiding mine. She was leaving Uzmi and my little sister, Lily, for him. For Daniel, the man who'd swept into her life like a summer breeze, only to leave chaos in his wake. I stood there, my fists clenched, my voice trembling as I begged her to stay. Mom, please. We need you. Lily's only 6. She doesn't understand. But her gaze was fixed on the gravel road outside, where Daniel's pickup truck idled, its headlights cutting through the dusk. I'm sorry, Sarah, she said, her voice barely above a whisper. I love you both, but I need to live for me now. And just like that, she walked out, her footsteps fading into the rain. Dad took it the hardest. He didn't cry, not in front of us, but I saw the way his hands shook when he poured cereal for Lily the next morning. He was a quiet man, a carpenter who spoke more with his hands than his words. But that night, he held us both and promised we'd be okay. I wanted to believe him, but the hole Mom left was too big, too raw. Lily clung to me, her tiny hands gripping my shirt, asking when Mommy would come back. I didn't have an answer. We moved forward, or at least we tried. Dad worked long hours, his face growing more lined with each passing year. I became Lily's everything, her sister, her protector, her stand-in mother. I braided her hair, helped with her homework, and told her stories to chase away the nightmares. But every night, as I tucked her in, I saw Mom's absence in her eyes, a question she was too young to ask, but too old to ignore. Years passed, and we built a fragile kind of normal. By the time I was 25, I'd graduated college, landed a job as a social worker, and moved us into a small apartment in town. Lily was 18 now, a senior in high school, bright and stubborn, with Mom's hazel eyes but none of her recklessness. She was my pride, my reason to keep going. Dad had passed 2 years earlier, a heart attack that came too soon, leaving just the two of us. We didn't talk about Mom anymore. It was easier that way. But then she came back. It was a Tuesday, the kind of ordinary day that tricks you into thinking life is predictable. I was at the kitchen table, grading papers for my evening class, when the doorbell rang. Lily was at band practice, so I opened the door, expecting a neighbor or a delivery. Instead, there she was, Ellen, my mother, 12 years older, her hair streaked with gray, her face etched with lines I didn't recognize. But those eyes, those damn hazel eyes, were unmistakable. Sarah, she said, her voice soft, almost pleading. I need to talk to you. About Lily. I froze, my hand gripping the doorframe. What do you want? My words came out sharp, cutting through the air between us. She shifted, clutching her purse like a shield. I know I don't deserve to be here. I made mistakes. But I'm different now. Daniel's gone, and I've been sober for 2 years. I want to see my daughter. Your daughter? I laughed, bitter and cold. You lost that right when you walked out on us. Her face crumpled, but she didn't back down. I know I hurt you, Sarah. I can't undo that. But Lily's still my child. I want to make things right. I wanted to slam the door, to erase her from our lives again. But something stopped me. Maybe it was the way her hands trembled, or the way her voice broke when she said Lily's name. Or maybe it was the fear that if I pushed her away, she'd find a way to get to Lily anyway. I didn't trust her, not for a second, but I couldn't risk losing my sister. Stay away from her, I said, my voice low. If you want to talk, you talk to me first. She nodded, tears brimming in her eyes. Okay. I'll come back tomorrow. Please, just think about it. When she left, I sank to the floor, my heart pounding. The past was clawing its way back, and I didn't know how to protect Lily from it. All I knew was that I'd fight with everything I had to keep her safe. That night, I didn't sleep. I sat by the window, watching the streetlights flicker, replaying every moment of that day 12 years ago. I remembered the way Mom's laughter used to fill the house, the way she'd sing off-key while cooking dinner. But I also remembered the fights, the way her voice would slur after too many drinks, the way Daniel's presence turned her into someone I didn't know. She'd chosen him over us, and now she thought she could waltz back in and claim Lily. No, I wouldn't let her. When Lily got home, I didn't tell her about Mom. I couldn't. Not yet. She was humming a tune from band practice, her backpack slung over one shoulder. And for a moment, she looked so much like the little girl who'd clung to me all those years ago. I forced a smile, asked about her day, and tucked my fear away. But it lingered, a shadow I couldn't shake. The next day, Ellen returned, as promised. This time, she brought a letter, her handwriting neat and deliberate, like she'd spent hours crafting it. For Lily, she said, holding it out. Please, Sarah, just give it to her. I took the letter, but I didn't promise anything. Why now? I asked. Why after all this time? She looked down, her fingers twisting the strap of her purse. I hit rock bottom after Daniel left. Lost everything. But I got help. Sarah, I'm trying to be better. I know I can't fix what I did to you. But Lily, she's still young. I want a chance to know her. Her words stirred something in me, Andrew. Yes, but also a flicker of pity. She looked so small, so broken. But I couldn't let that sway me. I'll think about it, I said, and closed the door. That night, I read the letter. It was full of apologies, regrets, promises to do better. She wrote about missing Lily's first steps, her first words, her first day of school. She wrote about wanting to be a mother again. I wanted to tear it up, to burn it, but I couldn't. Because deep down, I knew Lily deserved to make her own choice. I waited until the weekend to talk to her. We were in the park, sitting on a bench by the lake, the air crisp with autumn. I handed her the letter, my hand shaking. It's from Mom, I said. Lily's face went pale. She stared at the envelope, then at me. What does she want? She wants to see you, I said, my voice steady despite the storm inside. But you don't have to do anything you don't want to. I'm here, no matter what. She nodded, her fingers tracing the edges of the envelope. Can I think about it? Of course, I said, pulling her into a hug. Take all the time you need. But as we sat there, watching the leaves fall, I felt the weight of what was coming. Mom was back, and whether I liked it or not, our lives were about to change. Lily didn't open the letter that day. She tucked it into her backpack, uncharacteristically quiet as we walked home from the park. I didn't push her. I knew what it was like to carry a wound that deep, to feel the past clawing at you, demanding answers you weren't ready to give. Instead, I cooked her favorite dinner spaghetti with marinara sauce and we watched a cheesy rom-com, laughing at the predictable plot. But her laughter was hollow, her eyes distant, and I knew the letter was burning a hole in her mind. The next morning, I found her at the kitchen table, the letter open in front of her. Her face was a mask, unreadable, but her hands were clenched, the knuckles white. She says she's sorry, Lily said, her voice flat. She says she wants to meet me. To explain. I sat across from her, my heart aching. What do you think? I don't know. She looked up, her hazel eyes searching mine. I don't remember her. Sarah? Not really. Just flashes. Her singing to me. Maybe. Or her perfume. But I remember you. You were always there. Her words hit me like a punch, and I blinked back tears. I'll always be here, I said. But this is your choice. Lily. If you want to see her, I'll support you. If you don't, I'll make sure she stays away. She nodded, folding the letter carefully. I need time. I gave her that time, but the waiting was torture. Every day, I braced myself for Ellen's return, expecting her to show up unannounced, to push her way back into our lives. But she didn't. Instead, she called, leaving voicemails I didn't answer. Sarah, please, just let me know Lily's okay. I'm not trying to take her from you. I just want a chance. Her voice was softer now, less desperate, but I didn't trust it. I'd seen her charm, her promises, and I knew how quickly they could turn to ash. A week later, Lily made her decision. I want to meet her, she said, her voice steady but her eyes nervous. Just once. To hear what she has to say. I swallowed the lump in my throat. Okay. I'll set it up. But I'm coming with you. She didn't argue, and I was grateful for that. I called Ellen, arranging a meeting at a neutral Placia, small coffee shop downtown. Quiet enough for conversation, but public enough to feel safe. The night before, I barely slept, my mind racing with what-ifs. What if Lily wanted her back? What if Ellen hurt her again? What if I wasn't enough anymore? The coffee shop smelled of roasted beans and cinnamon, a cozy warmth that clashed with the tension in my chest. Ellen was already there when we arrived, sitting at a corner table, her hands wrapped around a mug. She looked up as we entered, her face lighting up with a hope I didn't want to see. Lily hesitated, then walked over, and I followed, my hand on her shoulder. Lily, Ellen said, standing. You're so beautiful. Lily didn't smile. She sat down, her posture rigid. Why did you leave? She asked, her voice cutting through the air like a blade. Ellen flinched, but she didn't look away. I was lost, she said. I was struggling with things I didn't know how to handle: alcohol, my own pain. Daniel, he made me feel like I could escape it all. I was wrong. I was selfish. And I've regretted it every day since. Lily's jaw tightened. You left Sarah to take care of me. She was just a kid. I know, Ellen said, tears spilling down her cheeks. I failed you both. I don't expect forgiveness. I just want you to know I'm trying to be better. The conversation was raw, each word a knife twisting in old wounds. Lily asked questions I hadn't expected about Ellen's life, about why she'd stayed away so long, about whether she'd ever thought of us. Ellen answered as best she could, her voice breaking, her hands trembling. I stayed silent, watching, ready to step in if Lily needed me. But she didn't. She was stronger than I'd realized, her questions sharp and unflinching. When we left, Lily was quiet, her face unreadable. In the car, she turned to me. She's not who I thought she'd be, she said. She's broken. I nodded, unsure what to say. Do you want to see her again? I don't know, she admitted. Maybe, but not now. Over the next few weeks, Ellen kept her distance, respecting Lily's need for space. She sent letters, though, one every few days, addressed to Lily but with a note for me. 2. Thank you for protecting her. She wrote in one. You're a better mother than I ever was. I hated how those words made me feel angry. Yes, but also hollow. Like I'd been carrying a weight I didn't even know was there. Lily read the letters, but didn't respond. She was processing, and I gave her room to do it. But the tension in our apartment was palpable. A silent question hanging between us. What now? I threw myself into work, into routine, trying to keep the ground steady beneath us. But late at night, when the world was quiet, I'd lie awake, wondering if I was doing the right thing. Was I protecting Lily? Or was I keeping her from something she needed? Then came the bombshell. Ellen called, her voice urgent. Sarah, I need to see you. It's important. I met her at the same coffee shop. Alone this time. She looked different, more determined. Less fragile. I've been talking to a lawyer, she said, her words hitting me like a slap. I want partial custody of Lily. She's still my daughter. The world tilted. Custody, I said, my voice rising. You abandoned her for 12 years. And now you think you can just take her. I'm not trying to take her, Ellen said, her eyes pleading. I just want to be part of her life. Legally. I know I don't deserve it. But I'm her mother. You stopped being her mother the day you left. I snapped. I've raised her. I've been there for every scraped knee. Every heartbreak. Every moment you missed. I know, she said, her voice breaking. But I'm here now. I'm trying to make it right. I stood, my chair scraping against the floor. Stay away from us, I said, or I'll fight you with everything I have. When I got home, I didn't tell Lily. I couldn't. But the fear was there, gnawing at me. Ellen wasn't giving up, and I didn't know how to stop her without tearing Lily apart. The threat of custody hung over me like a storm cloud, dark and heavy, ready to break. I didn't tell Lily about Ellen's plan, but the secret weighed on me, making every smile I gave her feel like a lie. I spent my days researching family law, calling lawyers, and preparing for a fight I hoped would never come. At night, I watched Lily, memorizing the way she laughed, the way she tucked her hair behind her ear when she was nervous. She was my sister, my family, my everything, and I wasn't going to let Ellen take her. But Lily wasn't a child anymore. She was 18, legally an adult, and that complicated things. A lawyer I spoke to confirmed it. Custody battles for someone Lily's age were rare. But Ellen could still petition for visitation rights or try to influence Lily directly. The thought made my stomach churn. I'd spent 12 years shielding her from the pain Ellen caused. And now that pain was knocking at our door again. I decided to tell Lily. But I needed to do it carefully. I waited for a quiet evening, when we were baking cookies together, a tradition we'd kept since she was little. The kitchen smelled of vanilla and sugar. And for a moment, it felt like we could hold the world at bay. But as we rolled out the dough, I took a deep breath. Lily, there's something I need to tell you, I said, keeping my voice steady. Mom Ellen's talking about wanting custody. Or at least visitation. She's serious about being in your life. Lily froze, her hands dusted with flour. Custody. Like, she wants to take me away. No, I said quickly. She can't take you. You're 18. It's your choice. But she might try to push for something legal. And I need you to know what's happening. Her face hardened, a mix of anger and fear. Why can't she just leave us alone? I don't know, I admitted. But I'm not going to let her hurt you again. I promise. Lily nodded, but her eyes were distant. She didn't say much for the rest of the night, and I could feel the space between us growing, a crack I didn't know how to mend. The next day, she went to school as usual, but when she came home, She was clutching another letter from Ellen. She dropped this off at school, Lily said, her voice tight. She was waiting outside. Rage surged through me. She what? She didn't talk to me, Lily said quickly. Just handed me this and left. I took the letter, my hand shaking. It was shorter than the others, but the words were a gut punch. Ellen wrote about her recovery, her therapy, her new life. She begged Lily to give her a chance, to meet again, to build something new. I know I failed you, she wrote, but I'm still your mother, and I love you. Lily watched me read it, her expression unreadable. What do you think I should do? She asked. I wanted to tell her to burn it, to forget Ellen existed. But I couldn't. It's up to you, I said, my voice thick. But whatever you decide, I'm here. She didn't answer, just took the letter back and went to her room. That night, I heard her crying through the wall, soft sobs that broke my heart. I wanted to go to her, to hold her like I did when she was 6. But I didn't. She needed space, and I had to trust her to find her way. The next week was a blur of tension. Ellen kept her distance, but her presence lingered in the letters, in the voicemails, in the fear that wouldn't leave me. I threw myself into work, taking on extra cases, anything to keep my mind off the what-ifs. But one evening, Lily came to me with a decision. I want to meet her again, she said, but not like before. I want to set the rules, and I want you there. I nodded, relief and dread warring inside me. Okay, we'll do it your way. We met Ellen at a park this time, a wide-open space where the spring breeze carried the scent of blooming flowers. Lily had written a list of questions, her handwriting neat and deliberate, like she was preparing for a test. Ellen arrived alone, her face pale but determined. She sat across from us on a picnic bench, her hands folded tightly in her lap. Lily, she began, but Lily cut her off. I'm asking the questions, she said, her voice firm. Why did you wait 12 years? Why didn't you call? Write. Anything. Ellen swallowed, her eyes glistening. I was ashamed, she said. After Daniel, I fell apart. I didn't think I deserved to come back. But I never stopped thinking about you. Lily's jaw tightened. You didn't think about us when you left. You didn't think about what it would do to Sarah, to Dad, to me. I know, Ellen said, her voice breaking. I was weak. I was wrong. But I'm here now, and I want to try. The conversation went on for an hour. Lily's questions sharp and unrelenting. Ellen's answers raw and tearful. I stayed silent, my hand on Lily's back, a quiet reminder that I was there. When it was over, Lily stood, her face unreadable. I need time, she said. Don't contact me until I'm ready. Ellen nodded, tears streaming down her face. Okay, I'll wait. As we walked away, Lily leaned into me, her shoulders shaking. I don't know if I can forgive her, she whispered. You don't have to, I said, pulling her close. You just have to do what's right for you. That night, Lily burned the letter. I watched the flames curl around the paper, the words turning to ash. It felt like a small victory, but I knew the war wasn't over. Ellen was still out there, and her shadow loomed large. The weeks that followed were a fragile kind of peace. Lily didn't talk about Ellen, and I didn't bring her up. We fell back into our routine school, work, late-night talks over ice cream, but there was an undercurrent of unease. Like we were waiting for the other shoe to drop. I kept expecting Ellen to push, to show up unannounced or send another letter. But she didn't. She was keeping her promise to wait, And that scared me more than her persistence. It meant she was serious. And serious people don't give up. I threw myself into protecting Lily, researching legal options, talking to a lawyer friend who offered to represent us if it came to that. But the more I prepared, the more I realized how little control I had. Lily was an adult now, and no amount of legal maneuvering could change that. If she wanted Ellen in her life, I couldn't stop her. The thought made my chest ache, a dull pain that never quite went away. One evening, as we were cleaning up after dinner, Lily broke the silence. "I've been thinking about Mom," she said, her voice soft. "Not just the bad stuff. The good stuff, too. Like how she used to read me bedtime stories." I froze, the dish in my hand dripping suds onto the counter. "You remember that?" "A little," she said, her eyes distant. "I don't know if it's real or just something I made up. But it makes me wonder, what if she's really changed?" I set the dish down, choosing my words carefully. "People can change," I said. "But that doesn't erase what they did. You have to decide if you can trust her." She nodded, but her expression was troubled. "What if I want to try? Not, like, be her daughter again, but just know her." My heart sank, but I kept my face neutral. "Then we'll figure it out together," I said. "But we go slow. Okay. And we set boundaries." She agreed, and we spent the next hour talking about what those boundaries might look like. No unannounced visits. No pressure. No promises Ellen couldn't keep. It felt like a plan, but it also felt like stepping into a minefield. I didn't trust Ellen. Not after everything. But I trusted Lily. And that had to be enough. We arranged another meeting. This time at a community center where I sometimes taught classes. It was neutral ground. A place where I felt in control. Ellen arrived early. Her hands clasped nervously. A small smile on her face when she saw Lily. "Thank you for giving me another chance," she said. Lily didn't smile back. "This isn't a chance," she said. "This is a test." Ellen nodded, accepting the terms. They talked for an hour, mostly about small things: Lily's band, her plans for college, Ellen's job at a local bookstore. It was cautious, tentative, like two strangers feeling each other out. I watched from a distance, my heart in my throat, ready to step in if things went south. But they didn't. When it was over, Lily looked lighter, like a weight had lifted, even if just a little. "She's not what I expected," Lily said as we drove home. "She's sad." But she listened to me. Really listened. I nodded, unsure how to feel. "That's good," I said. "But we keep the boundaries. Okay." "Yeah," she said, but her voice was thoughtful, like she was already imagining what came next. Over the next few months, they met a few more times, always with me present, always on Lily's terms. Ellen was careful, respectful, never pushing too hard. She brought Lily small gifts: a book, a scarf, a playlist of songs she thought Lily might like. I hated how much Lily seemed to enjoy them, how her face lit up when Ellen remembered something small, like her favorite color. It felt like Ellen was chipping away at the walls I'd built, and I didn't know how to stop it without hurting Lily. Then came the day I'd been dreading. Lily got accepted to her dream college, a small liberal arts school 3 states away. We celebrated with pizza and a dance party in the living room. But later, when the music stopped, she turned to me with a serious look. "I want to tell Mom about college," she said. "I want her to know." I felt the ground shift beneath me. "Are you sure?" I asked. "Yeah," she said. "I don't know what it means yet, but I want her to be part of this." I nodded, swallowing the lump in my throat. Okay, we'll tell her together. We met Ellen at the park again, the same one where Lily had set the rules. She was thrilled, her face lighting up as Lily told her about the college, the scholarship, the future she was building. "I'm so proud of you," Ellen said, her voice thick with emotion. "You're going to do amazing things." Lily smiled, a real smile, and for the first time, I saw a glimpse of something I hadn't expected: hope. Not just for Lily, but for Ellen, too. It scared me, that hope, because it meant letting go of the anger I'd carried for so long. But it also felt like a weight lifting. Like maybe, just maybe, we could find a way forward. As we left the park, Lily took my hand. "Thank you," she said, "for everything." I squeezed her hand, my heart full. "Always," I said. But deep down, I knew this was only the beginning. Ellen was back, and whether I liked it or not, she was part of our story now. Lily's college acceptance changed everything. The future we'd been building, our little world of just the two of us, suddenly felt bigger, more uncertain. She was leaving in a few months. And while I was proud, so proud, the thought of her being so far away left a hollow ache in my chest. And now, with Ellen in the picture, that ache was tangled with fear. What if Lily's new connection with her mother pulled her away from me? What if I lost her? Not to Ellen's custody, but to the bond they were slowly rebuilding. I tried to focus on the present, on helping Lily prepare for college packing lists, financial aid forms, dorm room shopping. But Ellen's presence was a constant shadow. She kept to the boundaries we'd set, meeting Lily only when invited. But her letters kept coming, each one a little more personal, a little more confident. Lily read them all, sometimes sharing bits with me, sometimes keeping them to herself. I didn't push, but every unanswered question felt like a crack in the foundation we'd built. One afternoon, as we were sorting through old photos for a scrapbook Lily wanted to take to college, she pulled out a picture of the four of us: me, her, Dad, and Ellen, taken at a county fair when I was 10. Ellen was laughing, her arm around Dad, Lily perched on her shoulders. I barely recognized the family in that photo, the happiness that seemed so unbreakable. "Do you ever miss her?" Lily asked, her voice soft. I looked at the photo, my throat tight. "I miss who she was," I said, "before everything fell apart." Lily nodded, her fingers tracing Ellen's face. "I want to believe she's different now, but I'm scared. Sarah, what if she leaves again?" I took her hand, my heart breaking. "Then we'll deal with it together," I said. "But you don't have to decide anything now. You're allowed to take your time." She leaned into me, and for a moment, it was just us again, the way it had always been. But I knew things were changing, and I had to let them. As summer approached, Lily's meetings with Ellen became more frequent. They'd go for walks, or sit at the coffee shop, talking about everything and nothing. I stopped going every time, trusting Lily to set her own limits. But I always checked in after. "How was it?" I'd ask, and she'd shrug, her answers vague but her eyes brighter. It was progress, I told myself, even if it felt like losing ground. Then Ellen did something I hadn't expected. She invited us to her apartment for dinner. "Just a small thing," she said in her letter. "I want to show you both I'm trying." Lily was hesitant but curious, and after a long talk, we agreed to go. I told myself it was for Lily, but part of me wanted to see Ellen's world, to understand who she'd become. Her apartment was small but tidy, with bookshelves lining the walls and a faint smell of lavender. She'd cooked roast chicken, mashed potatoes, green beans, a meal that felt like an echo of our old family dinners. We sat at her small table, the air thick with unspoken history. Ellen was nervous, her hands fluttering as she served the food. But she kept the conversation light, asking about Lily's college plans, my job, the weather. It was strange, sitting there, eating her food, seeing her try so hard. I wanted to hate her, to hold on to the anger that had kept me going all these years. But it was slipping, replaced by something softer, more complicated. Lily was relaxed, even laughing at one of Ellen's stories about a quirky customer at the bookstore. For a moment, it felt like we were a family again, or at least a version of one. After dinner, Ellen showed Lily a photo album she'd kept pictures of us from before she left, mixed with new ones she'd printed from Lily's social media. I didn't want to forget you, she said, her voice thick. Even when I was at my worst, I carried you with me. Lily's eyes glistened, but she didn't cry. Why didn't you come back sooner? She asked. Ellen looked down, her hands twisting in her lap. I didn't think I deserved to, she said. I still don't, but I'm trying to earn it. The ride home was quiet. Lily lost in thought. When we got to the apartment, she turned to me. I don't know what I want yet, she said, but I'm glad we went. I nodded, my heart heavy but hopeful. Me too, I said, and I meant it. As the weeks passed, Lily and Ellen's relationship grew, tentative but steady. I watched from the sidelines, my role shifting from protector to supporter. It was hard, letting go of the control I'd held so tightly, but it was what Lily needed. And maybe, just maybe, it was what I needed too. Then, a week before Lily was set to leave for college, Ellen called me. I want to help with her tuition, she said. I've been saving. It's not much, but it's something. I was stunned. Why? I asked, suspicious. Because I owe her, she said simply. And I owe you. I didn't know what to say. Part of me wanted to throw the offer back in her face, to tell her we didn't need her money. But another part, the part that had seen Lily's hope, her strength, knew this was her way of trying to make amends. I'll talk to Lily, I said. When I told her, Lily's eyes widened. She wants to help. Really? Yeah, I said. But it's your call. Lily thought about it for a day, then nodded. Okay. But it doesn't change anything. Not yet. I relayed her answer to Ellen, who accepted it with a quiet, thank you. And for the first time, I felt a flicker of respect for her, not for the mother she'd been, but for the woman she was trying to become. The day Lily left for college was a blur of tears and laughter. We packed her car with boxes, hugged too many times, and made promises to call every day. I stood in the driveway, waving as she drove off, her smile bright, but her eyes wet. I felt like I was losing her, but I also felt proud of the woman she'd become, proud of the life we'd built together. Ellen was there, too, at Lily's request. She stood a little apart, her hands clasped, her face a mix of joy and sorrow. She didn't try to take my place, didn't push for more than Lily offered. She just watched, a silent witness to this milestone she'd missed so many others for. When Lily hugged her goodbye, it was brief but real, a moment that held more weight than words could carry. After Lily left, I expected Ellen to fade back into the background, to let the distance grow again. But she didn't. She called me a week later, asking if we could talk not about Lily, but about us. I was wary, but I agreed. We met at the coffee shop, the same one where this all began. And for the first time, it was just the two of us. I know you hate me, she said, her voice steady. And you have every right to. I failed you, Sarah. I left you to pick up the pieces, and you did it better than I ever could have. I looked away, my throat tight. I didn't have a choice. I said, Lily needed me. I know, she said, and I'm so sorry. I can't change the past, but I want to be here now. Not just for Lily, but for you, too. Her words caught me off guard. I'd spent so long defining myself as Lily's protector, as the one who held our family together, that I hadn't realized how much I'd buried my own pain. Why now? I asked, my voice breaking. Why after all this time? Because I'm finally strong enough to face what I did, she said. And because you deserve to know I'm trying. We talked for hours, longer than I'd planned. She told me about her years away, the darkness she'd fallen into, the slow climb back. I told her about the nights I'd stayed up, worrying about Lily, about Dad's quiet strength, about the anger I'd carried like a second skin. It wasn't forgiveness. Not yet. But it was a start. Over the next few months, I saw Ellen more often not as a mother, but as a person, flawed and human. We didn't talk about the past every time. Sometimes we just shared coffee, or talked about books, or laughed about nothing. It was strange, building something new with someone who'd broken so much. But it felt right, in its own messy way. Lily thrived at college, calling me with stories of new friends, late-night study sessions, and the occasional homesickness. She talked to Ellen, too, sending her texts or calling when she felt like it. They were building something, slowly, carefully, and I was learning to let them. One day, Lily called me with a question I hadn't expected. Do you think you'll ever forgive her? She asked. I thought about it. Really thought about it. I don't know, I said. But I'm trying. For me. Not just for her. That's enough, Lily said, and I could hear the smile in her voice. As the months turned into a year, I realized something. Forgiveness wasn't about erasing the past. It was about making room for the future. Ellen wasn't my mother in the way she'd once been, but she was someone I could know, someone I could maybe care about again. And Lily, my fierce, brilliant sister, was finding her own path, one that included both of us. The last time we all met, it was at Lily's college for her first spring break. We sat in a diner, the three of us, eating burgers and stealing fries from each other's plates. It wasn't perfect, wasn't the family we'd lost, but it was something new, something we'd built together, piece by painful piece. As I watched Lily laugh, her eyes bright with possibility, I felt a peace I hadn't known in years. The past would always be there, a scar we all carried, but it didn't have to define us. We were more than our mistakes, more than our pain. We were a family, imperfect and broken, but trying. And for now, that was enough.